Hey y'all, I am Keisha Shields, and most of y'all probably know me as CEO of my own company, executive advisor, consultant, and coach for women who are moving up or transitioning into higher profile, higher levels of leadership in their own business and in the workplace. And those things are all true, and I'm amazing at it. But here, we are going to talk about, and I'm going to introduce you to Keisha, the woman, the whole woman, not just the businesswoman, okay? So, here on my YouTube channel, oh my gosh, this has been such a long time in the making because I knew I was supposed to do this a long time ago and I didn't for many reasons. But I am going to do my best to bring you along the journey of my life and the things that I navigate and go through, because a lot of people don't know a lot about me personally, and that has been very intentional, right? But because I believe in walking what I talk and leading by example, I am going to pull back the virtual curtain and bring you along the things that I'm managing and navigating, because I've never really done that before unless you've been a client of mine. But I want you to recognize the woman in my fabulousness, the fun, but also the journey of how I got here and things that I've had to overcome and navigate in my life. My current journey is a journey of becoming. It's a journey of becoming more of a full expression of who Keisha is. Like, I was raised to kind of be a people pleaser and to do things and put others always before myself. And I talked about that. Go take a look. Although I'm one of the youngest ones working, that must mean I'm selfish. Like, I have to give it all away. Like, they're not doing well. They don't have it. Okay, that means I need to give it away. And those were values that were instilled in me. And there's something really wrong with that picture. But I didn't know it then. That's what I knew. If you had it and others needed it, you gave it away. If not, you were selfish. Money is the root of all evil. If you don't do certain things, you're going to hell. All these things that kept me like, oh my gosh, I'm making great money. I am an executive at a young age. I'm Black, I'm a woman, I'm the youngest, right? And I'm in the C-suite already. Oh my gosh. People I know are not doing so well. That means I need to come back down to reality and help everybody to get there and give them what I have along the way to help give them a leg up. And I did that for so many years, and I couldn't figure out why I wasn't actually getting ahead. I didn't realize it for a very long time until one day, hubby had a conversation with me that just opened my mind wide open, because I couldn't see how close I was to the situation. But being the one feeling responsible for making sure that if I had, everyone else had. Like, I can remember feeling like I had to push harder to prove that I'm an excellent friend. I was in high school. I was about 17 at the time. And I was paying one of my best friends, car notes for her car. Why? I thought that I had to. I know, isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh, yes. So my journey is a journey where I don't have to overextend myself for others. I won't be paying anybody's car note or mortgage note or any of that. It's a journey of completion for me, of kind of coming back full circle, like at least for this part of my life. It's a journey to get my body right, like my physical health, My emotional health is really good. I've worked on my emotional health for the majority of my life. And like many people, I have battled severe depression, um, honestly, since childhood. But I allow myself to express the range of emotions. I talk about all the time how there are so many emotions out there, and I am entitled to experience every single one of them, and I do. So my current journey is a journey to come back to Keisha, not the one who needs to get the approval or validation of anyone else, but wanting the approval and validation of myself, to know that I am being so true to my center. That is what my journey includes. And I'm going to bring you along for so many parts of it. So many parts of it. Like I've learned so much about myself when it comes to how I can be disciplined with my, like, even say working out, for example. Like I knew I could be disciplined in my work, in my business, in my job, like academic things, but I didn't really know that I could be disciplined when it came to like the things that I did not enjoy, right? And things have been moving along so well, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And in fact, I have a video podcast episode that we will link, that you'll see at the end, where I talked about this very part of the journey right here. But my current journey looks like bringing people a little bit behind the veil to see what it's like to break through the glass ceilings in your life. And I know that we're used to thinking about the glass ceiling as being that dollar amount in corporate, but I'm talking about all of the glass ceilings in our lives. And if we look at them, we will see that we have many glass ceilings that we may not even be aware of. And I'm on a quest to blast through every single glass ceiling that I have in my life, things that I have not been able to bring into one accord. And that is a huge part of my journey. What was the turning point that put me on my journey? Okay, so I talk about this last year. My daddy passed away, and I recognized that I was on a journey with him during his ending times, and we went on this journey of healing and forgiveness, and it changed my life. And on the day that my daddy passed away, I made a promise to him that I was not going to hide behind the veil, being too worried about what others would think about me, including people in my family dynamic or friends or whoever, that I would not let other people's perception of me keep me from being full expression of who I am. When I was growing up, I always felt like I was in compliance. I felt like my daddy was a compliance tool for me. And so having that conversation with him, although he couldn't actually respond, the very last day that he was ill, which is the day that he passed, and I promised him that I was going to do this for myself, that I was going to shed the need to get validation, an approval, or shed the need to do things within the box. Having that conversation and making that promise to him that I would be fully who God has called me and chosen me to be. What is my career and what do I do? Okay, so in my primary work, I am an advisor to women executives and women who are transitioning into higher visibility leadership roles. And what I do is I help them with the confidence, the skills, the guidance, the coaching to no longer allow themselves to be silenced in their lives, to help them break through whatever glass ceilings they're having in their life. This includes relationships, this includes money, career issues, business issues, whatever glass ceilings that they're coming up against. And a lot of the women I'm working with are very private. And so they look very successful on the outside, but people don't realize a lot of the internal struggles that they're battling. And so my work involves the whole woman, all of the things that are keeping her from really breaking through and living her full expression of who she is. And so that's what I do in my primary work. On the other side of things, I am a writer, soon to be author. I'm working on books in personal development and in the kiddie genre, which is fun. And I also am redeveloping my stationery brand. So planners and journals, but they're going to be very like niche specific. I have an investment company. So we do tax lien investing, other like real estate and commercial type things. So those are the businesses that I have, and that's what I do, and that's my career. How was I able to get in the C-suite so young? When I was a little girl, I knew that I was going to be in the C-suite. Like it was on my little vision board from like, I can remember at least from like junior high school, like middle school. I knew that I was going to own a company, run a company. I just knew it. Like I had it written down. It was a plan. Cause like to me, the person at the top was the one who actually could make changes. And I always wanted to change the world. And I knew that the person at the top level was the one who had the power to actually make that happen. And so that was something that I wanted to do from the time that I was very, very young. With that being said, I started out and for a long time worked as a C-level executive assistant. And it was a very strategic move because it allowed me to learn all the ins and outs of what happens day to day when someone is running a company. Because I was responsible for managing all of those things on the back end. Operations, systems, human resources, like all of the above. So working as executive assistant to CEOs catapulted me. I went from typing up documents and all of those things to starting to give them advice on business decisions. They would take the business decision and it would work. They will see the results. And then they started letting me work with the hiring processes, and they realized I had a knack for bringing on the perfect people for the perfect opportunities, right? And it worked. And the company was growing. So all of these executive assistant things that I was doing, when I tell you I was focused, I was dedicated, I was committed, because I knew that I had a plan, and I did it well. But then I got to a point where I knew my income was capped being like that. I knew that I would always be seen as somebody's assistant. And eventually I didn't want that for myself anymore. And so I actually applied for a higher level role. And I wasn't going to do it. My husband was like, why not? I'm like, because I see the resumes coming in. These are older white men who have had more experience than I've been alive. You know what I mean, right? But I did it anyway. And my company didn't want to see me like that, but they kind of they had no choice, and then I applied for that role with other companies. And then when they realized that, they were like, okay. And I ended up being the best person for the job. And that's how I got into the C-suite at a young age. Okay, what would make, so this is a question that I had got asked. Like, so if I was taking applications for a BFF, what would be the requirements? One, trustworthiness. If I can't trust you, I can't hang with you. I have to feel that I can trust that you will make sure that I'm good no matter what, just like I would for you. So trustworthiness is the biggest one for me if I was taking applications for a BFF. The other thing would be a sense of humor. Or people tend to see me as pretty studious, right? But I have a wicked sense of humor. Sometimes people don't necessarily like it because it catches them off guard, but they would have to have a sense of humor for sure. They will also have to really get a high on intellectually stimulating conversation, because I'm more introverted than I am anything else, and I enjoy lengthy, deep dive discussions and conversations about life and love and family and visions and dreams and God and all of those things. So they would need to have a high on intellectually stimulating conversations. I don't want a twin, right? I want someone who we complement each other. They're a visionary, someone who doesn't live in negative Nancy land. Someone who believes in the possibilities of things, and someone who loves to travel. That would be dope. Okay, and so my husband would laugh if he saw this, because I have had some relationships end at travel season, right? So he always has said, well, when you go on a trip with someone, if y'all come back and y'all still friends, that just goes to show you that you know, the connection is meant to be. The finalists would have to go on a trip with me, and that's how the winner would be chosen. Whoever rises from the ashes at the end of it. No, but they would need to enjoy travel, especially luxury travel would be great and dope. And if they can't do luxury travel, that's cool. If I could interview anybody in the world, who would it be and why? I would have to think about that one. I don't think I can think of anybody. Yes, the incomparable Queen Michelle Obama. If I could interview anybody, it would be Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama, if you are watching this, I want to interview you. I want to talk to you. And as a matter of fact, it can be in private if you wouldn't even want it to be aired, because it's not for public attention. It's not for any of that. It's just, I want to have a conversation with you. I admire you so much and your journey and your story. So hit me up if your agents or you or President Obama, if y'all see this, hit up your girl, okay? Hit me up. I'm available. I'll drop everything, okay? Have I ever felt like I lost my identity? Yes, I have. I didn't know the language, but I would say I lost my identity way back when I was a child. But it had a lot to do with, I think, worthiness and feeling valued. And I recorded a snippet of that I'm going to share here. Because growing up, I always felt like I had to push harder, no matter what. Even when I was excelling, even when I was achieving, especially academically in school, from the time I was in elementary school, like I can remember being even in kindergarten and being responsible for helping the other students to get it, right? I remember being tested for the gifted program, but not being able to actually participate because my teachers felt that I was more of an asset in the classroom with my peers, helping them to learn, helping to teach them to read, helping them to understand how to do their basic mathematics. I was good at that. And people always had a natural affinity for me. But what it did was it actually squashed opportunities that I may have had to advance and to accelerate and to explore other areas and other things in my life. What I didn't know then was that this was going to be a perpetual cycle that would happen throughout my entire life. The cycle of, well, it's not really okay, it's kind of selfish for me to move ahead if all the other people around me are not there. Like, I have an obligation to stay back and help them to make sure that they can move along and come along with me. And that was a thread throughout my entire life that I recently recognized started from those young ages of when I was in kindergarten and first grade at school. Oh yeah, okay, I'm being acknowledged for being intelligent, for being compassionate and kind. And on the other hand, that means that I have to stay back and help everybody else along too, right? That's not fair to me. And it caused a lot of hardships in my life because my worth started to be predicated on what I could do for others and how well I could excel academically. The smarter I was, the more expectation was placed on me to be the fixer of all things for all people around me, right? And as I moved along, into adulthood, that same kind of unworthiness. So my worth became dependent on that and what I could do for others. Like, because growing up, I was the good girl. I didn't do a lot of bad things. I wasn't involved in peer pressure. I was the teacher's pet throughout almost my whole school year, even including high school. It was never intentional. I remember being really nice and getting these citizenship awards every year in school and teachers loving me. And I used to go on the intercom every day and say the Pledge of Allegiance at school. Like, I was the morning announcer, right? I was the kid who, no lie, from throughout my entire elementary school life, I was the kid who emceed all the events, the honor ceremonies, the award ceremonies, and most of the time I was the award recipient. It was so awkward, announcing your own name, getting down, and then coming back up to the podium to continue. It was not well thought out at all. And then when I got to the 6th grade, womp womp, that's when you start moving to credits. That's when you start rotating classes. I couldn't lose my way. I was good academically, but when I got to art class, I sucked. I had no confidence. I was able to avoid it my entire school life by grading during our art time. I guess what I would do, sit at the teacher's desk and grade papers, right? There was always something I could do. Or I would, I'll go help other kids. I was always able to avoid that because I didn't trust myself creatively, right? I didn't know how to draw. I rebelled. Oh my gosh. And that was a life-changing moment for me because it was something that I wasn't good at and I couldn't academically talk my way out of it. It was something that either you had it or you didn't, right? It was something that you had to demonstrate. And I remember freaking out because I was like, I'm not gonna have this poor grade on my record. So I started acting out in class, things that were not me, going toe to toe with my teacher, all of the things, because I didn't want to look like I wasn't excelling at something. So I got bad behavior marks and I got kicked out of my art class. But that means I didn't have a bad grade on my report card, right? But that was a life-defining moment for me. That's why I think I locked in so much to excelling at work, excelling, in my relationships, and all of the other things. I found something I wasn't good at. And it was embarrassing because I thought that people wouldn't love me as much, that I wouldn't be as valued, right? And that's really sad when you're 11 years old and you're feeling that way, the pressure. So just sharing some moments from childhood where I always felt like I had to push harder. Dealing with depression as a kid, even though I was called Giggles, when I was at school, I thrived. Not so much in that scenario, but I thrived. I was happy. I was jubilant. Outside of school, not so much. I struggled a lot. I struggled a lot with my relationship with food. It was an unhealthy exchange. Food was something that I could control. I could control it, and there was an abundance of it. I didn't have to be good to get it or not good to not get it, right? And I remember when I was 8 years old, I had a poem published, and I wish to this day I could remember the anthology series that it was a part of. But I remember the poem was about how food is my comfort and my best friend. And that is so sad. I look at that now, I'm like, wow, that is so sad. But it has been a journey, and I dealing with this, just let me tell you something. When you don't feel worthy enough, it does a number on you, even when you don't realize it. It does a number on your spirit, on your body, because I started to get bigger and bigger. Now, one thing I do want to say about this, and I hesitated whether or not I was going to share this or not, but I'm going to do it. I was dealing with being abused during the time, and food was a protection for me. Safe, it could keep the attention off of me. I didn't want to be seen as an object, and I continued to use that throughout my teenage years. And guess what? It didn't work. It didn't work. So I'm just saying that feeling unworthy or not worthy enough, or feeling that you're only really good at certain things, but not as a human being. I knew that people loved my mind, my intellect. I knew people loved that, but I didn't know if they loved me outside of that. So here I'm going to give you 13 things you might not know about me, okay? Okay. 1, my favorite food is hot plate of French fries. My favorite luxury brand, it's kind of a tie. I'm going to say my own brand. My stationery brand is going to be a luxury brand. But my favorite luxury jewelry brand is Tiffany & Co. And or Cartier. I also enjoy Chanel. Okay? This was going to surprise a lot of people who don't know me in person. I'm not short. People see me and they always think, oh my gosh, I thought you were short. I'm like, no, I'm 5'11". I have been 5'11" since I was around 11 or 12 years old. Haven't grown an inch since then. All my growth spurt was at the beginning. I was about 5'1" in kindergarten. That's a fast fact for you, okay? 4, I forgot what I was gonna say. I am fluent in sarcasm. Most people don't know that or expect that. It's been one of the things that I've gotten reprimanded for at work. I didn't even know I was being sarcastic, but some people didn't like it. My friends always call me out on it. My employees always call me out on it. I don't even realize it, but I'm fluent in sarcasm. 5, I was a foster parent from the time I was 20 years old. I was the youngest foster parent that they had, and quite frankly, I was one of the best. Age ain't nothing but a number. When you focused and driven, I met all the other requirements. So I was good to go. And I really enjoyed foster parenting. That was a great experience for me. Number 6, I got my degrees in psychology and international business. 7, I'm still planning to go for my PhD. And in fact, I am going to be doing this application cycle. So we will see. 8, well, people know I'm a Jesus lover. I love God. I know that God has a vision for my life. And I use that as my center. Love it or hate it is not my problem. Number 9, my favorite city to live in so far has been San Diego. San Diego is so beautiful. It's very diverse. I love being by the ocean. That's so far. I am a doggy lover. I love the pooches so much. We've always had dogs my entire life. So that dogs are my happy place. My hubby wants to live on a farm, but we decided we're going to try to find a place that has oceanfront farm back. So if you know any places like that, let me know. I'm your buyer. If I could be anything in the world, I would be a sex symbol. Okay. I know this is rapid fire, but let me clean it up a little bit, okay? I love sexiness. I love feeling sexy. I love the energy of sexy. I love making my business more sexy. I just love sexiness, right? So that's why I said that. Like the idea, I would say living a sexy life is very attractive to me because it reminds me of one that's full of confidence and one that's full of just being so genuine and authentic to who you are. Okay. I was once a partner owner in a multi-7-figure distribution company. A lot of people don't know that. And I walked away from it because the vision of the co-owner was no longer aligned with the vision I have for my life or the way that I chose to do business. My favorite movies are ones from back in the day. Lean on Me and Crooklyn come to mind. Those are 2 of my favorite movies from childhood. I could probably watch them over and over again. But I want to say this YouTube channel is going to be Keisha. Yes, we're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about careers. We're going to talk about the barriers. We're going to talk about how to find your voice. We're going to talk about not being silenced. I'm going to share interviews that I do with other women who are on their quest to no longer be silenced, or they may do this in their work to help other women as well, right? So I'm going to have those interviews. We're going to have fun, but I'm going to take you and bring you along my journey. We're going to get our money right, because here we believe in wealth and intergenerational legacy. So we're going to talk about your money. We're going to make sure you're making good decisions with your money. We're going to make sure that you're doing things to build wealth. We're going to make sure that your relationships are going right. We're going to make sure that physically that we're doing right, that we're feeling okay. We're going to make sure that our minds are right. We're going to make sure that our spirits are right. And we're going to make sure that our relationships with God are right. I want you to trust yourself, and I want you to know that you can trust me. Okay? So we're going to do this. The good, the ugly, and the indifferent. We're going to do this, and I'm excited to get to know you more and for you to get to know me more. So thank you for rocking with me and checking out my video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you will be notified when my next videos are released. And trust me, you don't want to miss them. You can also check me out on my website at KeishaShields.com. You can check out my podcast. It is called She Will Not Be Silenced. And you can find me over on Instagram at Keisha P. Shields. Ta-ta! Mwah.